Project Management Insights, providing project managers with professional development in the interpersonal skills areas of leadership, team building, and communication. In today's episode, I want to talk to you about the 5 ways to get team members on side. You know what happens when they get so disgruntled that they end up offside? You feel like they're not working with you, they're working against you. Well, these are some of the things that I've used and that's helped turn that around and had those team members back working and feeling like we're actually part of a team, the one team working together. So the first thing is to share information with them. Oftentimes what I notice is that when I get so caught up and busy in my schedule and making things happen and resolving issues and making sure risks don't occur, I get so caught up in all of that that I forget to share information with the rest of the team. And so sharing information can be updates from steering committee or how major issues or major risks are being dealt with and managed. It's about sharing information that they will find valuable and feel as if they're a part of what's going on in terms of the whole project. So share information with them. It will help them feel included and inclusive in terms of decision making and understanding what's going on with the project. The second way to get team members on side is to acknowledge their contribution and ideas. Now, this might be in a more formal setting when you're in a meeting and they make a contribution or share their idea of how they think something could be resolved or the best way to work through something, or even recommendations and suggesting for who should be talked to about a particular issue that's arisen, as an example. Just acknowledge it and say that you've heard them and you want to thank them for their contribution and what they've done. And in a more informal sense, you might choose to do this when they perhaps email you with some idea or some contribution that's helping with keep the flow of the project moving. Then just call that out. Call that out personally, one-on-one to them, and also call it out to the team. Sometimes what I would do is, if we would have an all-team meeting, I would make a point of calling out people who had made contributions in a specific way, especially if it was about resolving issues, because that way then it's helping them to see that I consider what they're doing as valuable. And that has them feel important and part of the team and like what they're doing is worthy and worthwhile. And so you'll find when this happens that they are more inclined to do this more often rather than sitting back in silence and not being involved. And again, you will notice that what they do is they will start to be more interested in what's happening and share knowledge and information that they have that you might not have or that other team members might not have. So overall, you get a better outcome for your project. The third way to get team members on side is to follow up. Be trustworthy. Do what you say you're going to do. And sometimes this can appear hard, again, because you're busy, you're caught up in managing the whole project cycle. But it's really important that if you say you are going to check with somebody about something, do it and let them know. If you say that you are going to raise an issue and have someone manage that issue, do it. And again, report it, let the team know, make sure the issues register is updated. If you are commit to sending out minutes from a meeting, do it. Follow it up. Be trustworthy. The only way that they will learn to trust and be trustworthy themselves if you are trustworthy and a person that can be trusted. So follow up. Do what you say you're going to do, and you'll find that it will shift their own ability or own way of being trusted. They'll become more trusted again, and they'll dive in and be involved. Now, the fourth way to get team members on side is to delegate. Yes, Take your hands off. And this can be the most difficult thing to do when you're a project manager. You have your way of believing that it needs to be done. You're not sure whether the person that you want, could delegate to has the skills or the desired knowledge. Guess what? Sometimes what you have to do is trust. Trust that if you take hands off and you delegate the task, it will get done, and it will get done in a way that is okay, might not be up to your set standard, and it will be done and it will be okay. And what I've noticed is that the more I'm open and willing to delegate, and initially it might only be small things, but the more that I'm open and willing to delegate, the more the team get engaged and involved. It's crazy, and yet it works. So delegate those tasks that you feel you can delegate, that you're comfortable delegating, and the more that you delegate those small things, then the trust builds, the more that you will find that you become able to delegate those bigger tasks. And it does make your life easier when you're trying to manage too many things or everything at once. Manage or delegate some of those issue resolution items. Delegate them and talk to the team about how perhaps your ideas around how you think they should be managed, or your suggestions or recommendations. Make the contribution, but let them resolve or solve the problem. It does make things easier. It gives you a bit more breathing space. You might have more time to go and write up those minutes after meetings, as an example, if you're open to delegating. Now, the fifth way to get team members on side is to be interested in them. And I mean them as people, individuals. What's going on for them? How are they feeling? What's happening for them? How are their family? What are they doing on the weekends? What sort of things do they do in their time off? This is more about the person rather than the project. Sure, they're a person on your project and they have a set of tasks and they have things to complete, and that's important for you because you're supposed to be monitoring the scope and the delivery side of it, and so you need them to deliver on time. And if you are interested in them as a person, it makes them feel like you see them and you acknowledge them and you understand if they're feeling under pressure and stressed. Share a little bit that you might be stressed and feeling under pressure. You might be surprised at the conversation that occurs between you and them, and at least in some common understanding about the pressure that you're all under to get this project delivered. Whereas if you treat them like a person doing a job, you're not going to get the best out of them, and they're going to feel as if you don't care, you're not interested, you don't want to know, all you want is to be that slave driver that wants the end delivery. Not good from a person's perspective. Turn it around. How would you feel if someone that was managing you treated you that way? Pretty sure you wouldn't like it. So be interested in them as a person. Talk to them about them as a person and their interests and how they deal with their stress, the things that they do, how they manage their activities. As I said, you might be open, and if you're open enough, you might be surprised what you can learn, and maybe there might be a skill that you can pick up from them that you're not aware of. So be interested. Don't just be about the project. So if you take each of these 5 things and look at if you're doing any of them with the people in your team, especially those that you notice are offside, have a go just practicing one of them. Try one of them and see if it makes any difference. And then if it makes a little bit of difference, well, great, try another one. And put all these 5 together and you're going to find that those team members that were offside are completely back on side with you and the team, working to help you deliver the project on time as a part of that team. So these tips work, these ways of working work. They've worked for me, and I'm sure they'll work for you if you use them and give them a go. See how you go. I'd be interested to know. So give me your feedback. Until next week. Thank you for listening to this Project Management Insights podcast. Be sure to visit projectmanagementinsight.com and sign up for our monthly newsletter or to receive updates on upcoming training.